Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. At Mile High View, we're doing something no fan channel that we know of is doing on a consistent, regular basis, and that's bringing you film reviews, film critiques, this kind of thing. What you have generally out in the world here is a lot of hot air, a lot of promises being made, and hype. Lots and lots of hype, and not very much looking under the hood. I'm making these Russell Wilson videos just as a reference, a quick, condensed version where those who don't have the NFL replay, I would encourage everybody to get replay. I would encourage everybody to watch film and not just go and look at somebody's highlight videos. I think you get I think they give the wrong message. So what I did here with this Russell Wilson, I have various Russell Wilson, this is the second part of a series I'm doing. And the goal is just for people to get a good idea beyond the hype, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And it's not just to look at Russell Wilson, it's to look at our own offensive line in retrospect, look at our own receivers in retrospect. I definitely have an opinion, for sure. We're definitely outspoken. We honestly believe that the Wilson acquisition was a bit early. We think that this team wasn't quite ready for Wilson. And I will say this, in breaking down the Wilson film, I will say with certainty and confidence that as far as last year and last year for Seattle and the last 6 years for the Broncos offensive lines have been getting the quarterbacks killed. And there's this idea that people like to say things. And because if it's said enough, it must be true. Well, the bottom line is either you're blocking or you're not. Either you're doing your job or you're not. This whole thing about quarterbacks raising ships and all that, quarterbacks aren't going to raise ships if you just aren't doing your job. So I believe from what I've seen so far, I've seen a much more consistent Seattle offensive line than the Broncos offensive line, number one. Number two, I also see receivers kind of going to the second level of, if they didn't get open the first time, they work at getting open again. Something I haven't seen from the Bronco receivers, who just basically, in my opinion, our film critiques have shown them taking off their routes, running just basically like their DBs are like jogging partners for them. I don't see them getting to the second level of getting open very often. I see this with the Seattle receivers. Hopefully that will change with Wilson. It should have been that way from the beginning, but I'm sure that Wilson's going to see this footage and he's going to have something to say for sure, because we've been showing this film for a long time. But with that said, this is just kind of a library. It's not cherry-picked at all. We're going down the sequence of plays. So most of the throws, unless they're just indifferent, I would say, we're showing the good, we're showing the bad. So we can get a really good feel for what we got with Russell Wilson. You can see it for yourself. Quick videos are condensed. But I would encourage everybody to get, and I wish more people would do film. It is work. And we don't have the resources. The other platforms who get paid, who have beat writers for Dallas and Indianapolis, for instance, and they run a Bronco channel. You got to love that. But we're an actual fan-based channel. So you get our opinions, too. We're not here to cheerlead. We're pretty critical, especially 6 years. The Broncos have been going down the tubes each time, and it's beyond a quarterback. This is, it's a franchise thing. When you run we believe that the front office has basically run it down to the AFL, the old 1960s AFL days. One quarterback isn't going to solve it if you continue to make the same problems, create the same problems, which we're kind of seeing that again, and it's really discouraging. When we thought we were starting to see a bit change. But anyway, I guess we'll see as this season goes on. But that's the introduction. So let's get on with the actual film review. All right, 1st and 10 at Seattle's 25-yard line. There's a big throw by Willson. This works because a couple of things. One, his offensive line gives him the time he needs. So he lets the play develop. Big thing here is one thing I've noticed watching Russell Willson film is if Russell Willson is dropping back, working the pocket, keeping eyes forward, not turning his body to one side of the field or the other, his completion percentage goes way up. Once Russell Willson starts running around like a chicken with his head cut off, or just turning his body from keeping his eyes from being downfield, that it goes into the abyss. That completion percentage just dives. So what I'm strongly recommending, now I know there's a couple of things. One, I know this by listening to the talk coming from Dove Valley that they're going to want big plays more often than not. I would discourage that because I honestly believe this offensive line, I have to see it to believe it, based off the history of this just good enough player personnel on the offensive line and what I'm seeing on film, 6 years of just good enough getting quarterbacks killed. If you have offensive lines that are inconsistent, it's going to make your quarterback be inconsistent as well. With this play, you have a 6-step drop. Russell sees he's got his receiver open downfield, and as a, consolation prize, he has his receiver is one-on-one with a linebacker who's already late, soft, back to Russell Willson. This is, easy read. Makes the big throw right in the basket right there. No reason not to throw that, no hesitation. They'll chew you up on that every time. All right. Now, this is what I've been talking about. Watching Russell Willson film, what I've noticed is, this looks like a design play, and I am not at all. This is a no-no in my book. This is what I call Pat Shurmur football right here. You get into the Shurmur concepts of cutting your nose off to spite your face. Right there, we got 3rd and 3. I think this is a 3rd down play. You don't do this at all, especially on 3rd down. Like I said, I believe this is a design play, so I can't say this is all on Russell Willson. Immediately, Russell Willson there, he turns right at the snap of the ball. That's what tells me this thing was planned to begin with. Now, you are already cutting off the right side of the field by doing that. You've just eliminated it completely. That's where the open receiver is. Your receiver, had you just stuck with, not done that. Every time, it seems like, every single time that Russell Willson turns to one side or another, there's no completion. It's always incomplete. It just frustrates me that you would have him do this. Russell Willson, I don't want to see Russell Willson running around like a chicken with his head cut off, opening himself up to getting injured. It's stupid. Russell Willson can play the pocket. He's a big boy. You're paying him money. And I'm going to show you that if he works the pocket, great things happen. When you do this, it's just a wasted down. Just stupid. Right here, you got a guy doing a little hook route. It's just he's going to sit down, and you could have hit him right there at the opponent's 35, at the Rams' 35. That would have been an easy completion for a 1st down. I mean, it boggles my mind. Do not ever limit yourself. You limit your quarterback, limit the field on your quarterback. Everybody on his side of the field is keyed up. I mean, everybody's on. There's a hat on a hat. It's just bad play calling. And I don't want to see this with the Broncos. I want Russell Willson eyes downfield. Drop back, work the pocket, keep eyes down the field. Don't turn, don't do this bullshit. Just play the position, We asked you, it's a big boy ball, to work the pocket. So none of this I don't know what it is, off schedule. I don't know what they were thinking, but this is not how, this is how to get yourself into a punting situation, and that's actually what happened here. This play's designed to be a quick throw. The problem is Willson looks to his right and not to his left where the open receiver is here. The receiver's open on a hook route. Open because the DB's giving him like a whole lot of cush. Now, had Willson been looking the other way, he can throw it right there. And there's plenty of cushion for that to make this throw no problem. Now, if this was Drew Lock, it'd been, oh my God, he's the worst ever. Ah! You know, in reality, this kind of thing happens. I guess some quarterbacks can get away with this, but again, this kind of thing happens. It's first down. Okay, you know, you got 2 other downs to make it up. Now, just to make my point about eyes downfield, work the pocket, magic happens. Never get out of this. On this 2nd and 9, get the ball snapped. This is a thing of beauty. Offensive line does a decent job. Don't give up on the pocket, Russell. Do not give up on the pocket. Work the pocket. That's it. Step up, step up, step up. Now make the big throw. There you go. And you're going to see this receiver. Here's the thing, the other thing we're looking at here. This receiver has to know he's got to continue on the route. He's got to, ad lib. He's got to get himself open again. Their receivers do this, and this is something I've seen. I don't want to see our receivers giving up on routes, slowing down on routes, just running, like they're jogging with the DB, like, oh, I got my jogging partner here, like we've seen with Shermer Ball. We need receivers to go to the second level. Okay, here we got number 14. Oh, I can see my quarterback is in some trouble. I got to get to the second level here, do a little move. I'm open. Here I am. Bingo, right there. That's how you do it. The receivers have got to do their job to help the quarterback out. I always say, unlike a lot of people about elevating ships, all this nonsense, people like to say, the quarterback is the most dependent. He's the most dependent. He's dependent on everybody. And you got to treat him like a 90-year-old lady. I hate to say it, but you do. And you got to give the quarterback every chance. You got to make his life as easy as possible, whether you're your offensive line or whether you're a receiver, or whether you're a running back putting in a block. You got to do everything you can. It should be your mission to make his job as easy as possible. Here, you got receivers going to the second level, and I better see that coming out of this receiver corps after getting paid like they got paid. Alrighty, we're in the second quarter now, and Willson is going to throw an INT. All day long, they pick on this number 5 DB. They just go after him. And here, I think in all fairness, I think to Russell Wilson, I think this DB's a bit grabby for my liking. Definitely impedes the receiver. Should have had a flag thrown without a doubt. He gets away with one, slows up the receiver just enough. I mean, waits for the break, and then he's grabbing, and then gets his hand in there, pops the ball up. It's an anticipated throw, and Wilson isn't anticipating this guy holding him up. And then he manages to get a hand in as he's supposed to, pop the ball up as he's supposed to, and then tip drill comes into effect. This middle linebacker, I believe, goes and picks it off. Next series, Wilson goes back on the attack against this defense. They're doing a too high shell. And Russell Wilson really does a good job right here, staring straight downfield so he can hold this safety up. Don't want to get him to commit. So he sees that their receiver to his left is pretty well covered. He's got his home run ball receiver to his right. He's holding that safety up, and he throws it right at the perfect time where his receiver passes the DB. DB gets beat. DB is in toast mode. Yeah, he's done. He's beat. He let the receiver get ahead of him. Cardinal rule, big mistake, because the safety can't do anything until Wilson decides what he's going to do, so he holds up the safety. So there's the only thing this DB can do. He trips. Didn't know if he meant to. Doubt it. But the only thing he can do is interfere and basically grab the receiver's leg, because this is going to be a touchdown if he doesn't do it. So that's going to draw a flag every time. All right, here we got a touchdown by Willson. A lot of things here that I really like. First of all, this is really good offensive line work. I mean, I got sick and tired of hearing about Seattle having this horrible offensive line, and all I've seen is things like this. And I didn't see enough of this with the Denver Broncos, but standing in the pocket, looking downfield like I like, gets that matchup with number 5 or 6, this corner that they've been working on. And you'll see it's Metcalf. He will split the safety. Safety is committing, so he knows because right now Wilson's cocking his arm back. And so Wilson knows he's got a tight window because he's got a safety coming over the top, helping out. Justin Simmons. And number 5, the DB here, just not enough. He hits him right in the window. And Metcalf being the guy he is, they don't just bring him down. It's an easy fall into the end zone for him. All right, we got a big play on first down by Russell Wilson. What I really like is sticks with the pocket, as he should, keeps eyes downfield, as he should. That's Russell Wilson, in my opinion, at his best. For all those who think him running around like a chicken with his head cut off is the answer, it is not. It is being an NFL big boy quarterback, staying in the pocket, making the big throws. And offensive line that gives him decent protection. It does break down. He sees where he wants to go with the ball on the right side here. And you get a green light when, if you see here, the receiver gets behind the DB. And that's always a green light for a quarterback every single time if they're good. And he takes advantage of that situation and throws a strike. His receiver to the left, and he's wide open and hits him in stride. And that's a big first down, big play. And that was really, the DB made that happen. Here we have 1st and 10 on the 24. What I've been noticing, too, with Wilson is that he is really good at hitting slot receivers. And here he hits a slot. This is your typical, like, Brady ball. Hits the slot right directly in front of him. Easy pickup. Quite frankly, I would like to see Hackett use tight ends more than Seattle did. Although I do believe we won't see tight ends utilized as much as I would like them used. I would, if the offensive line breaks down like it has for the last 7 years, despite all the promises of how great it's going to be, they may want to start running a lot more quick throws to help this offensive line out. Just saying. All right, this play may not be exciting for too many people, but it just to demonstrate that the understanding of the game is. So Wilson threw a touchdown pass that was called back. There was callbacks for holding. So they're basically, it's 10 yards further back. Time's running out. They only have a few seconds, so they got to throw to the sideline. He needs to give his kicker that little bit of extra, make it a little bit easier on his kicker because they just blew the touchdown. Well, the offensive line did anyway. Russell Wilson knows he's just got a few seconds, so he calls for the sideline pass. It's a thing of beauty, too. It just gets it right there. Boom, just drops it right in. DB's playing extra soft, though. That does help. This little down and out play is something you wouldn't see in a highlight reel, but it's really important to show it because the moral of the story is Russell Wilson is not going to take unnecessary risks. He knows Russell Wilson. I'm just showing this because it demonstrates Russell Wilson knows the limitation of where they are in the game situation, the playbook. It also shows that Pete Carroll isn't asking him to make something happen. I think sometimes these younger quarterbacks are asked to make things happen. I don't think it's the right thing to do. So the coaching staff is only asking him to do what is possible. The next video is going to be the second half. I don't think Russell Wilson had as good of a half in the second half as he did in the first half. So I'm going to go over some of these problem areas that came up in the game. So check out the second half when I get it posted. I think you'll find it very interesting.